Hello again, everybody. Jim Hickey with Website Presence coming back to you with the next video in the series associated with the Keyword Research Demystified ebook released a couple of weeks ago. In this video, we're going to do a live example, and this is going to be live somewhat. I did do a little testing of this ahead of time, to be honest, but it's going to be more or less live, and so hopefully everything comes out the way I want it to. But we're going to go into the Google Keyword tool, check the search volume, go into Google search engine, check what we have to check there, go into Traffic Travis, check what we have to check there. But to remind you what some of the criteria that we really want to be targeting here is an exact match search volume of greater than 1,000. There's sometimes we may want to consider varying from that a little bit. Might mention a few things about that depending on how we get on for time. Then going out to the Google search engine, doing a phrase match search within the search engine for our keyword phrase. That's when you put it in quotes. We want that to be less than 30,000, although like I've said previously, take a little more liberty with that number. Definitely up to 100,000. Then add the all-in title operator to the in quotes search in the Google search engine. You want the number of pages there to be less than 10,000. Then we want to go out to Traffic Travis, check that the page ranks, no more than around 3-ish. The links to the page and most of the sites are less than 300, or at least there's a low number of links there. And that when you check the SEO columns, which is those last columns with the checks, you want those to be red checks as much as possible. And ultimately, you'd like Traffic Travis to be thinking that it's relatively easy, I guess, is another thing that's important. So I'm going to switch over to the search engine here. So I'm going to put you on hold for 1 second. Okay, so we're back at the Google search engine, and you'll notice that it's almost like it is when we open it up. I already checked that the location and language is okay. I'm going to enter the keyword here in a moment. Keyword that I've already played with, so I have some idea how this is going to turn out. It's not going to be totally blind because we don't want this thing to go on forever. We do remember we want to change the columns here, right? We don't want that competition column. That's really that little bar thing that deals with the AdWords stuff. Do want the estimated CPC just to see if there's, somewhat of a sense of commerciality. Okay. Now I'm going to start with a pretty broad keyword. Okay, something that's close to a market here, and that's camping. Could be considered part of outdoor recreation, but whatever. That time of year, people are thinking about camping. Let's just see where this gets us. So I already have some idea where it's going to get us, but we'll see where we can go with this. Google goes off and does its thing. A couple of changes we want to make here. Once we get our listing of things, camping's right on top. Huge number of searches, but that's broad match. We want to change it to exact match. And there's still a huge, that's 40,000. That's a very large number of searches. Camping World, which is a company that has even more, we'll stay away from that one. We don't want any copyright infringement, trademark, whatever problems. The other change we want to make before we go much further is to come down here to the bottom. And usually what I do is I just up this to 100, where we've got a bunch of keyword tools out there. Keyword terms returned. Going to kind of scan what we're getting here. We got a lot of locational type things, specific like states and so forth. But we have camping gear, things to have to do with equipment. Scroll up. What do we got? We've got camping tents. Still a lot of locational type things. That could be pretty interesting and pretty important here in a moment. Free camping, tent camping, camping supplies in here, camping sites, camping tips. So there's a whole bunch of different possibilities. And normally when you're thinking about getting into one of these things, you might be thinking about maybe promoting tents or sleeping bags or, camping equipment of various types. So you don't want to look at those sorts of things. I'm going to tell you right now, camping is going to be way too competitive. I'm not even going to look at it. Single word phrases, just forget them. Even double word phrases are usually a problem. But let's just make sure, because we may want to, focus in on some supply type things or tents. Where was the tents here a moment? That was down a little bit further, I think. How did that have for, where do we go? There we go, camping tents. So camping tents has quite a few searches. So let's just check out this one and see what we get. Because that's something people might be looking for when they're going camping, right? Is a camping tent. Not everybody does it in an RV. Definitely commercial. You know, you get shopping results, you get AdWords over here. Let's see, what's up here? Coleman Company, a major company. Target, number 2. Amazon. Okay, anyway, so it's definitely commercial. This is the broad match. We want to know how many let's get that out of there. How many competing pages there are in the phrase match where you put that term in quotes. And we want this number to be under 30,000, definitely under 100,000. That's a million. Okay, so, you know, and quite often, for a couple of different reasons. One, it is a product. A lot of internet marketers will target those sorts of things. So that's not a big surprise. It's also a two-word keyword phrase. That's another problem oftentimes. But if we do the all in title search too, we want this to be under 10,000. Well, it's over 200. So that's not going to work. Now, I'll tell you right now, rather than going through a couple of these in order to save time, when I checked things like camping supplies and all that, these all had the same problem. But there's another question here. We have all of these things related to locations, right? You know, Colorado camping, Yellowstone camping, camping in Wisconsin, Virginia, Southern California. Lake George is a place in New York State. Let's check this out and see what it comes up with. So now to get to this term easily, just to remind you, because I just kind of did this quickly, if you just click on that term, I'm in Google Chrome, it opens it up right up here. Okay, so it's already got the tab in the search engine. It's already done the broad match search for us. We can just go in and put it in quotes, see what we get. Whoa, 23,000. Remember that we want under, you know, the optimum value was less than 30,000. We're under that. Now let's put on our all in title operator. Wow, well under the 10,000. Looking pretty interesting. Okay, so now what we'd do is we'd go over to Traffic Travis, right? And okay, I've already done this because this takes some time. So I've already done the search for Lake George camping. Like I said, I already done this ahead of time. But if I had just opened up Traffic Travis, you know, you get the selections first. We'd want to check the SEO analysis little tab, which would have been over here, or now it's showing over here. Once the SEO analysis window opens up, enter in our keyword phrase. I just cut and paste it, set it to 10 results, make sure, you know, I'm in the United States, so I'm going to, and this is in the United States, so all the more reason to make sure it was set on the United States. Hit the analyze button. It went out, gathered its data, and I'll tell you, the page rank is just under 3, so that's cool. The links here, there's a couple that are over the values we want, but most of those are low, so that's looking pretty good. For the area over here, this is where the SEO factors were. Most of those are red X's. I think I said red checks before. Red X's, we don't want green checks. Traffic Travis thinks it's relatively easy. So it's looking pretty good. You know, many of these sites are listed in both of these directories, but to be honest, I do not worry about that too much. The things I really look at are page rank. Under 3, I'm encouraged. The lower the better. Backlinks are really cool. Most of these are fairly low. There's only a couple that are, you know, that's right around the value we're shooting at. That's slightly over. That's well over. But again, just the number doesn't mean much, because it might mean that a lot of those links are, you know, relatively weak links. And if you get some decent links going to you, or you get it from a more authority site, like you put out a Squidoo lens and you get that to get some links to that, that might actually put this up in a position where you're going to start to get some attention from these things. A couple things that I don't like here. One, especially if I was thinking about building a site around Lake George camping, like I wanted to sell an ebook or something, camping guide, something like that. The fact that we have lakegeorge.com and it's ranked high, that would turn me off, because, you know, if I was going to build a site, that would be the keyword phrase that I'd be going for. That doesn't mean I still wouldn't make this part of another site that was on camping in general, or that if I wanted to just build a lot of squidoo lenses targeting each one of these different geographic areas if they all turned out to be the same way. With the same type of results, where you get all of the parameters falling into place, that I wouldn't go ahead and do that. I probably would. And as I was evaluating this, I'd probably put together a couple of articles of squidoo lenses or a hub page in a squidoo lens, bookmark them, maybe even start up a blogger.blog site, put some posts on that, link back to those, just to see if I can get those to a hub page and a squidoo lens actually ranking for these things if I was trying to get search engine traffic, or to see if there are enough people in those areas searching those types of things that are going to get me click-throughs to my offer, because that's really what it's all about, either getting the direct click-throughs, getting the direct click-throughs, right, the direct traffic, or making use of the search engine traffic when we go there. Well, you might sense that I'm getting a little excited here. And when I saw these things pop up for the camping, I kind of had a feeling this was going to turn out to be pretty good. And you remember, if we go back to the Google keyword tool, how many of these geographically related terms are there? Now, I checked out a few, as I was getting ready for this to make this video, and they all fell. Some were a little bit higher than this, but still were definitely interesting. Some lower than this, but these things all look pretty reasonable. And you get a lot of these sites that have over 1,000, high 800 or more searches per day, at the local and global level. And that's important because you want to get people searching with these things, whether it's via the search engines or whether it's on hub pages or squidoo or whatever the case may be. So the fact that I have all of these things to choose from, I may pick something that's fairly generic or general that's around camping, and then write articles. It's like camping in Yellowstone, camping in Florida, Florida camping, using these different keywords, either on a blog, a WordPress blog that I would develop myself, create articles, then go out and create some promotional type supporting content like hub pages and squidoo lenses and maybe a blogger blog linking back to it. Again, trying to get that direct traffic, trying to get that search engine benefit if I can. And it looks very reasonable. And I also know from personal experience that taking this approach, when you're faced with a niche where the actual direct in niche, trying to deal with camping or camping supplies or specific elements on that side of it is very competitive, that when I took this approach and went to a geographical sense, looking at, again, the one of the niches I'm working in, people go to certain places in order to partake in those activities, and when I used the geographic aspect, I was actually able to develop some sites that are getting direct click-through traffic when I go, do some forum marketing, go put up a hub page or a squidoo lens, and bookmark even. It's amazing that I get some from bookmarking and dig, or Stumble and places like that. But also those sites are ranking well in the search engine, so I'm getting search engine traffic as well, using this geographical approach. So the fact that I saw all these things in camping was kind of exciting. I've already got enough going, so I'm not going to go for it. So guess what? Beyond this just showing you how to do it, right? Because we walked through the process. We found out where it didn't work. It, basically it didn't look like camping. Camping itself wouldn't have worked. I can guarantee you that. The camping gear probably wouldn't work. Camping supplies didn't work. I checked that one out. Camping tents didn't work. So the accessory type keyword terms was a problem, taking that approach into this niche. But when we get to the geographic side, it looks more than reasonable. I'd spend some time going through these terms. And if they all look pretty good at this sense, like I said, I'd make some articles, squidoo lenses, whatever the case may be around those things and test it out. If it continues to look good, I'd probably commit to building a site. If this is something I really wanted to do and there's a product I can really promote doing it, either an ebook that may be available on ClickBank, I can guarantee you that if you go to Amazon, you start doing search on camping things and camping books and whatever, DVDs, what have you, there'll be plenty of things you can promote. to be an affiliate as. Or maybe you are an avid camper and you could write your own ebook. You could write a guide to various camping areas if you've camped all over the country. What a way to actually get that out there, right? So just something to keep in mind. So the benefit: one, you've seen the process in action. You've seen the steps I go through, going from the keyword tool into the Google search engine, over to Traffic Travis. This niche in its geographic sense, these geographic keyword terms, would definitely have me doing some things to check it out further. And to be honest, there's other levels of research, keyword research, like not just looking at the number of links, but actually going into the place where Traffic Travis, is pulling that data from, which is the Yahoo Site Explorer, and looking at what those links are. What are the page ranks of those links? How strong are those links? If I was going to get serious about building a WordPress site based on that would be the next level of analysis I'd do. If I was really going to commit to this thing, going to write a book or something like that, or make DVDs or movies or videos or whatever, develop my own product. That's the next level of research I'd do. And at some point in the future, we'll talk about that as well. But hopefully, this has given you, again, the approach and how to go about doing the steps. And secondly, some insight about some things to consider beyond that. And the fact that at first blush, just looking at camping tents and all that stuff, didn't look like it was going to work. But all of a sudden, here's the geographic side that definitely does look like it more than will work and could be a very viable niche. So who knows? Maybe I gave somebody some ideas out there beyond just the how to do this keyword research stuff. At any rate, I'll be talking to you again soon with another video. Have a wonderful day.